Hello, I'm Dr. Rosemary Cleveland, and I teach in the College of Education and the Graduate Teacher Certification Program. I've been teaching online and hybrid courses for over 12 years. And today I would like to offer you a few pieces of advice in teaching hybrid and online courses, particularly in the area of the instructor presence in the class. I think that's an important focus. I think a couple of other points I would like to mention today are building community within the class and how important it is for your students to get from you written and oral feedback because it's very important to their success in your online or hybrid class. So a few thoughts from me about giving your students feedback. First of all, I would start from the fact from the very first assignment that you give them is that you give positive feedback and you give it frequently to your students. That is very important that they see that you are as engaged in the class as they are, because the results that you're going to get from them, if they see that you are going to give them good, solid feedback, they're more apt to find a pattern within those first few weeks of class of giving you their very, very best in their assignments. They won't slough off on the assignment if they see that you are responding directly to them. One suggestion would be is in your response to them is to address them directly. So in my instance, if I was writing to one of my students, I would use their first name, whether it was John or Jack or Trisha or Jackie, whatever it would be, and then I would go on to give my response. And there's something about that personal connection of using a person's name. We do it when we're doing it face-to-face in a class. So to do it in a hybrid or online class in terms of feedback, to me, is a critical piece. Also, to ensure your students' success in your hybrid and online classes, please give serious consideration to scaffolding your assignments. In other words, what you give them at the very beginning of the class sets the tone for how you want them to respond. But each week, or if every few weeks, you increase the level of expectation from them. So maybe the first assignment is something that you want them to respond to in a matter of 200 words. But by the time they're into the fourth week of the assignment, you're way past the 200-word mark. And maybe it's not the number of words, it's the responses, the types of questions, or the way you want them to question the work that you're doing. And maybe by that point, they don't even realize it, but they may be up to a response that is 400 or 500 words, be it verbal or written. And that's because you have gradually increased the expectation, and sometimes without them even realizing how much you're challenging them, because it's been a gradual step-by-step process. And that same thing will happen in terms of the types of assignments you give them that build up to a major project, so that they can see the value in the project because you have given and helped them through the steps to get there. And help your students find personal meaning in the types of assignments. A lot of times you'll hear the students say, oh, that assignment just didn't mean anything to me. It was a waste of my time. Well, give them assignments that mean something, that they can connect to. And if they can have a personal connection to it, or if they can have a project where you give them the parameters, but they pick the topic and then you have to approve it, or they give you a selection of 2 or 3 topics and you guide them to the one that is most appropriate for the course, you get them to buy in. And maybe sometimes they will even give you something that they have a strong feeling or passion for. And that just increases the value of what they're learning and their success rate. Try to create, as the instructor, an atmosphere in your hybrid and online course that shows that you are open to students' responses and their opinions, and that you value them, and that you remain positive to them, giving them positive feedback. That's really important to building a student's confidence in what they're learning in your course. One of the last things that will mention right now in this video clip is help your students feel that they are a valued member of your classroom community. That may help them make connections to each other, help them make connections to you in terms of your availability and responses to them. It's okay to set parameters and let them know that in terms of your feedback, that you're going to encourage them to do their very, very best. And this is the close of this particular segment of our presentation. Thank you so much.